Hey, what's up, guys? Carlo here. So, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur and you're wondering why is it that I need to write so much, right? I just want to be a business owner, I just want to build my business, but no one told me that I needed to write so many things, right? And when you realize that each and every single word of those make a big difference, then you're in trouble, right? Because copywriting, which is the art of writing words in a way that it's persuasive, that it's in a way that says to people, hey, you need to click here, right? If you want to get this and this and these benefits. It's just like having a salesperson doing the work for you, but while you're sleeping. So what I mean by this is that let's say that you have an email automation. So that's an email that it's sent automatically to your email list. So when you're sleeping, maybe someone in Asia or in other parts of the world, they're reading your emails, right? They're connecting with your company, with your business while you're not there. So it does really matter a lot the type of words that you use. How do you write it? The structure, everything. It's so important if you really want to not become a slave of your business and have a system that can work for you. So now that you know the importance of copywriting about the words, how do you do it, right? So today I want to make a little confession. I'm not a professional writer, but I still get paid to do copywriting. So today I'm gonna show you a little trick that I do every single time to get better and better copy. So rather than just reading a bunch of books about copywriting, about writing, because it's very different if we talk about writing a book versus writing copy, because copy is focused on getting people to do something. It's focused on doing it in the most entertaining and persuasive way as possible. So it makes sense so people can understand it and see why they need your product, your service, or whatever you're selling, or even though so they just apply the value that you're telling them. So for example, today I'm talking about this crazy technique that is actually very easy in order to improve your copy. But if I just tell you like, yeah, this is a technique where you can write better copy, that's pretty boring, right? But what I did is that I first told you the scenario in which you are probably at, right? You're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you're like, what? No one told me that I needed to write. Then I told you what's the importance of copy. I told you how it's gonna directly affect you, and then I told you the pleasure, right, of being sleeping while your emails are doing all the work for you, and how that part is so critical. So that's copywriting, right? That's because at the end, for me, copywriting, it's applied marketing, right? It's basically when the rubber meets the road, and where everything that you know about marketing, about persuasion, about communication comes into play. So is that specific art, right, of telling people and getting people through your story, through your copy, and telling them why is it that your product, that your service is so important. So the technique, it goes like this. This is very easy, and you can apply it right away. So what I'm talking about is rewriting. That's pretty much it. When you rewrite something, a lot of times your brain just somehow realizes a way to make it better, just realizes a way that it looks better, that it's just better. So for example, let's say that I'm writing a headline. So when it comes to headlines, what I like to do, because for me this is one of the most critical parts of your copy. By this I mean the copy of your Facebook ad, the cover of your Instagram post, the subject line for your email, are all those things that are the first thing that people are gonna see. And if you don't get their attention on that first moment, then you don't have them at all, right? So this is kind of the hook, right? Let's imagine that this is like a pirate hook. This is the hook where you get people from scrolling down, stop, and seeing your content and not everyone else. So what I like to do is to rewrite it from 10 to 15 times. So what I mean by this is that if I go like 10 tips to become a better copywriter, right? Then I'll do it again. 10 tips to become a better copywriter, even if you don't know how to write. So I'll go again. 10 tips to improve your copy skills. Even if you are not a writer. You see, and each and every single time is gonna go better and better and better and better. And at the end, you might not like the last one, but you might like the second one. So then you can pick, right? You have an abundance, you have options, rather than just staring at this single headline and just being like, oh, tips, okay, maybe become, I can put improve, and then maybe copywriter, I could be like business owner. Okay, what I do, and then just start erasing. That's what most people do. They write it and then they erase one part and put another one, erase and do it. What I recommend is having each and every step, so in that way you can pick. And and that's way easier to pick from a bunch of things than just having one, because for your brain it's gonna make it seem like there's not enough options, right? Like, and it's more stressful, in my opinion. So for headlines, I do 10 to 20. For sub-headlines, I like to do 5 because I think they're very important, but not that important. For regular paragraphs, I just like doing it once or twice, right? It doesn't matter that much. And since they're longer, it's gonna take you longer periods of time. So focus on rewriting more headlines when you're doing those Facebook ads, when you're doing their subject lines for your emails, when you're doing the introduction for your emails. Also write them 3 to 4 times, right? Pay more attention to the first parts, and then also for the calls to action, I like to do it at least 5 times, right? From 5 to 8 times. And what I mean by calls to action, if you're not sure, it's basically when you're telling people like, click here, or there you can be more creative, like, yes, I want it. That's a cool call to action. Calls to actions are very important because that's what takes people into clicking, right? That's like the final step. So I remember when I was learning about copywriting, this guy that's called Jim Edwards, that I learned from him, and he told me, or he said in his book, that copywriting is like having a ton of buckets of water into the fire. So have you ever seen those movies from the past where people wanted to just take out a fire from a house? Everyone would have a bucket of water. So if I had this bucket, I would grab the bucket and give it to the next person, and that person is gonna grab it and give it to the next, and give it to the next, and give it to the next, right? In a straight line, until someone is really near the fire and they could throw it in the fire, right? So copywriting, it's pretty much the same. You need to take that bucket and pass it to the next part and the next part. So if you have a great headline, but then you drop it on the sub-headline, it's not gonna get to the fire. And then you drop it into the paragraph. I see so many people doing this because they got amazing headlines, right? They're like top 10 tips to improve your copywriting skills, even if you don't know anything about writing. But then you start reading and the paragraphs are so lame, right? They're so boring, and you just wander off and you just go watch Instagram again, right? And the call to action is like the last bucket, right? It's just like, okay, I came all the way here. People are reading my stuff all the way till the end, but then in the last moment, when they're about to just throw it into the fire, which is the click, which is probably buying from your product or scheduling a call, you're dropping it in the last second. So that's why I put a lot of attention to this. And also, because you like it or not, a lot of people just don't read the whole stuff, right? So if this is the headline, it's gonna be H1, this is the paragraphs, and this is the call to action. A lot of people are just gonna read this, scroll down, and see the call to action, because there's a lot of people that are just like, no, I don't want to read this. Like, I know they just want me to buy something, so they just go straight into the call to action. So what I like to do for those people is to put a PS at the end. So at the end, in this PS, I'm like, hey, this is the summary of what I told you, and here's the call to action. Like, here is why I want you to click here, because at the end, all this, it's a build up in order to get people to buy, right? In order to get people to click. So I indirectly, all this value, because I'm also giving people real advice, it's for people to click that call to action. But if you got someone that is just like a schemer, that is just basically gonna scroll down all the way to the end, you make a PS where you're just very straight. You're like, hey, this is what I teach people in this email. This is what I want you to do. Click here, and that's it, right? So you want to play their game. These people are playing a different game, and what I mean by that is that people that read every single word, those people are playing a way different game than the ones that are just scrolling down until the end and seeing the call to action. So you want them to talk to them in their language and be like, I know you're straight up. I know you're a person that doesn't want to lose time, that doesn't want to read the whole thing. So this is the thing. This is what I'm telling you. This is why I want you to click on my link. This is why I know that my service and my product is gonna help you out. Click it if you want, and if you don't, just keep scrolling. So that's it for today, guys. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, share it down below. If you want me to apply this for your own business, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and you want to focus more on the copy, on what is the message that I'm telling people, and turning your vision, your thoughts into words that actually make sense, let me know. There's gonna be a link down below where you can schedule a call with me. It's gonna be a very friendly call. Basically, you just tell me everything about what is your business about, what's your vision, what do you want to achieve, and then I can see if we are a good fit to work together. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.